To be honest, the first couple of months when I was here, I mostly traveled to Berlin or Leipzig on the weekends. But at last I made peace with Dessau, so-called.
Lost with no wings, no direction, just afloat. When my contentment marries my comfort, I blankly cruise the stale river on a spacious boat. My creativity is silenced in an armless compass. Enough! I break free of chains that illusions eternity.
Okay, my country is a summer country, you can call it. And there's a lot of races in Malaysia. And there's Chinese, and there's Malay and Indians, and we live together and correlate each other with our cultures. We share our cultures with each other.
So we have this national language called Hindi. I'm not really sure if I could, maybe some people get offended by it that Hindi is a national language. But Hindi is something like a common language that all the states kind of talk, but it also varies. Like in some states, English is more used than Hindi.
My lifestyle in Malaysia was really fun because I always go out, and that's for events actually. I'm always going out for events with my friends, and as a dancer in Malaysia, there's a lot of events for dancing also. So I've been joining competition almost every month before coming here.
I was born in the capital city and I was raised there. And it's like my city, Bogota, is very chaotic, but at the same time it's like very energetic, and it was really fun.
I'm from Egypt, Mansoura. It's a city next to Cairo. Small city actually. Maybe you can say it's more like Dessau comparing to Berlin, because Cairo is the capital and Berlin also the capital, so everything you can do.
Turkey is a nice country. Like you experience 4 seasons there. Like summers are amazing, winter is amazing. So I was a student when I was living in Turkey, so I lived with my parents. And family is important in Turkey. Being together in holidays, like most of the countries in the world, it's also important in Turkey. Yeah, I think I had more of a metropolitan lifestyle. I used to travel to Istanbul also when I found the time. So yeah, it's a bit chaotic there.
Should I compare Turkey with Germany? Okay. So, I mean, there are like huge differences, of course, like cultural differences. Also, like in the daily normal life. Here, it's more there are like the city is more for like people. There are like green areas that you can go chill with your friends. You don't have that in my city, for example. So it's like more Really.
Okay, it was my first time in Europe in general. So for me, everything was quite new. Even taking a train for me was something I never did before because we don't have trains in Colombia. Like we do have one in Medellin, but it's like compared to the transportation in here is something completely different. So to me, everything was new and I didn't have any expectations.
Living as a student here in Dessau, so far, compared to my country, when I was a student in my country, it was very stressful because our syllabus and our timing is already stressful. But coming to Dessau here is really chill and relaxed, and you actually have your own time to make improve yourself.
I would say the biggest responsibility is the paperwork related to moving to Germany in general, which involves a structured step-by-step process, which is first getting a visa to come to the country, then finding a place to live, then doing the Anmeldung, which is to register in the city, which is something we don't have in Chile at least. And it's something that was new to me, and I had to learn how to actually succeed in all these steps to be able to stay in the country and to study here.
Well, actually, I always wanted to live abroad. Like, I want to experience a lot of things in life, whatever can happen. So I always wanted to live outside. I just didn't have the chance monetarily. And then I got like a good job and I could save stuff. And then it was a possibility to move. So it was just like, okay. And then I applied for a bunch of universities all around Europe. The moment it was accepted, it was like, it became from a, like, that could happen into a reality. It was like, what am I going to do? Like, oh, this is real. I'm gonna leave everything I know behind and everyone I love.
I'm Aigin, and I'm 28 years old. I have been here like from 10 months ago, and I'm studying Master of Architecture and Cultural Heritage in Hochschule Anhalt, and that's the reason I'm living here in Dessau. It's winter, so I think it's normal to be a little bit homesick. And because I'm video calling with them every day, I'm not feeling that much homesick. But when I'm seeing people, or for example, my friends who are German, or hanging out with their family in weekends, I have this feeling inside me that I missed it, and I want to have it too, but it's not possible for me right now. Actually, because of a lot of sources we have in Iran, I think people think that living in Iran is cheaper and everything is more available for us. Here in Germany, it's not like that. And in my experience, because I'm living alone, I don't have my mom, dad, or my first-class family here. It's a bit challenging to afford everything. I have to always have this mindset to control and to cover everything by the budget I'm planning for the month. And here I have to take care of everything by myself, which is a huge responsibility. It was so huge, and I was so struggling with it in the beginning, like for 3 months. But after that, I learned how to manage, and everything is getting better and easier day by day, and I'm learning how to control everything. My childhood, it was so sweet. When I'm remembering my memories, I'm always smiling. Yeah, I'm calling them every day. We're talking with each other and we're seeing each other. Although I'm not living there, but I'm aware of whatever is happening at my home. and they're aware of what's happening here. So it's just like that. We know everything about each other, but we're not close that much.
It was my birthday. We had a birthday dinner at a restaurant nearby in Dessau. And after we finished the dinner, we went out. And there's some drunk Germans came mocking us, like a monkey like that. And then it's like trying to say, you guys, Asian people, what are you doing here? And then making like monkey action. But luckily, I had a German friend there, and she stood up for us. And she came and she fight back this huge drunk German guy. And I was so grateful for her. And she was so angry that she like teared up a bit.
Because there was this girl also that got missing, and I never know what happened to her. That was from Mexico. I was like, okay, like supposedly in Berlin nothing happens, and this happens, and it makes you question a lot. And now how the country it is, I don't want to be like say anything wrong, but it's scary. This is like a scary times for being an immigrant here. I think, especially if you are not from some countries.
The first thing that comes to my mind when someone experiences racism here in Germany is that most of the times, if not all of those times, it's from people who were born and raised in the same place where they are living right now. They don't speak any other language but their mother tongue. And everyone who migrates to Germany, most of the people I know here are extremely talented and powerful people who went out of their comfort zone. And they shouldn't never feel less when they experience any racism, because this comes from narrow-minded people, like people who don't know anything about the world. I have to say that I'm used to Nazis and far-right people. I am not scared of them anymore because I know them very well, and I also know how weak they are, how vulnerable they are. Their views are so narrow that they are actually vulnerable to reality. So I am not scared by those. And yeah, I grew up with a far-right father, and I also grew up with many far-right classmates at school, or even other people at school, even teachers that were teaching us that the dictatorship was even positive in Chile, which is something you cannot say in any other country but Chile. I'm very critical, and I'm very solid in my political views, so it's not something that bothers me. I know there are many far-right people in everywhere, basically, especially in Germany, in East Germany, when it comes to the rise of popularity of the AfD. It's something that worries me because it's a global trend, and I see that basically they are making use of people's fears to gain power. Politically speaking, I've only been on the left. I've always been very critical of the right wing, especially the right wing in Chile, because Chile is pretty much about right or left, like it's about extremes. And I would say the right wing in Chile is pretty much to the right, like they are very close to being Nazis in many ways. Because of the dictatorship, I would say. And also, many Germans here know that many Nazis escaped to South America after the Second World War. And they went basically to Argentina, Chile, some to Brazil. Since I grew up in a privileged environment, those environments are very conservative in the country. I went to a school of rich kids, basically, who are mostly from the right wing. They're very conservative, they're very traditional. And I basically grew up in a school being the only gay person I knew. Now I look at pictures of myself when I was a kid and I see a very gay kid, like my poses, everything. But I was not this child who was wearing his mother's high heels or something like that. No, it wasn't that evident. But if you look at the pictures, I was always posing in a weird way. Like I was always quite queer. And I love that. I knew I wasn't straight. I knew I wasn't normal at some point. And people cared a lot about being normal back then in the 90s. And it was very difficult for me because I even heard my father say that he would kill me if I turned up gay. And at that time I knew I was gay. So I felt always threatened by the idea of him being near to me. I still remember when he punished me once. He pushed me upstairs, like he was kicking me to go upstairs, and then he threw me to the shower and showered me with cold water. He was really aggressive. I know I was misbehaving, of course, but there is a reason why I cannot forget that moment, and it was really difficult for me to forgive what happened that time, like to forgive him for what happened that time. I think this is just one of the things, because he was always very explosive, and he always said to my mother, which is one of the reasons why I love my mother, that kids needed to bleed to learn. So for him, he should have punished us physically more for us to become better adults, which is not how things work anymore. And my mother is really aware of this because she's a psychologist, and she never allowed him to punish us in his ways, luckily, and she always protected us from him. But that was one of the times in which she couldn't do anything, and I still remember it because it was very traumatizing. I would say I was scared of him for years. But after therapy, after growing up, I discovered how much he influences me as an example of what I don't want to be. So I actually learned a lot from him, not because he is an example to follow. It's just the opposite in the end. He is an example of the human being I don't want to become. So we now have a good relationship. We managed to restore the relationship after years of different attempts. Now we can respect each other. We can avoid controversial topics. Now he knows everything about me. There are no secrets. And we have a healthy relationship, even though I know that everything I said before about him is true. I mean, he was a bad influence, and I had to learn how to turn that into what he wanted to become.
Für die internationalen Studenten, aber auch für Migranten, die nach Dessau kommen, ist es wichtig, dass sie auch sehen, die Mehrheit der Bevölkerung ist für Demokratie, für Gleichbehandlung und gegen Rassismus. Und darum ist es wichtig, dass hier so viele Leute heute versammelt sind. Und wenn man das auch nicht immer spürt als Zugezogener oder Neuankömmling in Dessau, es gibt durchaus viele Menschen hier, die ein buntes und gemischtes Dessau bevorzugen und gerne hier leben mit neuen ausländischen Mitbürgern zusammen.
Unsere Demokratie ist zerbrechlich geworden. Wir haben viel Unwissenheit in der Welt. Und die Zeit der Krisen ist immer gut für Spalter und für Populisten. Und in der Zeit gewinnen sie immer Zulauf. Es ist wichtig, ein Gegengewicht zu liefern. Und ich glaube, wir haben viel zu lange stillgehalten und wir haben viel zu lange nicht diskutiert, sondern immer wieder weggehört bzw. ja, Ruhe gehalten. Und das war falsch. Denn nie wieder ist jetzt und wir müssen aufstehen für unsere Demokratie, wir müssen sie verteidigen. Und das sehen wir in aktuellen Zeiten mehr denn je. Ja, der heutige Abend hat gezeigt, dass unsere Stadt es braucht und dass es aber auch genug Menschen gibt, die sich in unserer Stadt engagieren können. Und auch internationale Jugendliche sind aufgerufen, sich in unserer Stadt zu engagieren.
Stop ruining it.
Sometimes it's fine to have a really bad day of crying, of being like not wanting to be out in the world. If you promise to yourself that the following day you are going to pick up the pieces and take it like where you left it, like, you know.
When I started my university, I have a big situation phase in my life. Like my dad died, so I faced this and I'm very strong and very positive to just keep living my life and just making him proud. It was rough, but it taught me a lot.
Many of us, we behave like everything is okay, so you see us all the time laughing and being like socializing and being like everything is fine, because you don't want to look like you have a problem, you know, like you are depressed and sad and not enjoying life.
I grew up in Ankara. I could easily call a couple of childhood friends, just meet up, just say like, hey, I'm depressed about this or that, can you help me? But here it's more of like a responsibility development where you have something and you're like, yeah, if I don't do it, nobody else will help me. So I think it made me become a more self-aware adult.
It doesn't matter where you are, you always face difficulties in your life, I think. It doesn't matter if you are in Germany, if you're in Turkey, if you're in, I don't know, Spain, somewhere else. It's like, it's just life gives you some struggles and you learn how to deal with it.
The more affected you are, the more the people will come at you, you know? So just be brave and like stand up for yourself.
Dessau is a good city to focus on yourself. Let's say it's very peaceful, sometimes maybe too peaceful. Yeah, but the friend group makes it all okay.
Every stride of a single step burns my thighs, but the ray of light on the other side calls for me. I am now but a key of my own lock, and now I am free. This path I now gallop on, this yearning of meaning, is the first inch of the journey my mind's eye conjured. What road I'll take, what decisions I'll choose does not matter. For whatever destination I'll get to is a journey endured. I feel bliss, I feel wonder, I step on the land unknown. I feel fear, I feel anger. Have I left paradise for a subjectless throne?
Music in Chinese called 音乐.
Musique.
موسيقى.
Musique. M-U-Z-I-K.
Música.
So this is an interesting story because we were just sitting at my friend's place and I had recently started doing DJing in Dessau. And I like that people used to like my music and they come and to listen to me. But I also had the feeling like I knew some of my friends who were also musicians, you know, and they didn't used to get the similar kind of platform.
It was the first time for me to do something like this in front of people. It was first time to me to just going into the world of live music. I felt very free to do maybe what I could do.
I always said that if I have the chance, I would like to do every kind of music. Like, one of my dreams is like having a room full of all kinds of instruments just to mess with them.
So the first introduction was just like an idea in 2021, I guess. And we were just sitting with a bunch of friends. It's like, man, let's do an open mic night. And then people were asking me like how it would be.
We as internationals, we have a lot of reason to meet together, either if it's studying or partying. But meeting to make music is actually a very universal reason to meet. I cannot think of any other reason which applies to everybody the same. I think it just refreshes us, gives us space and the tools to process what's happening in our lives. And the fact that we're doing it together, just enjoying the friendship, it really means a lot to me.
A couple of weeks ago, I don't remember, there was an open mic thing in Mitte, and my friend Shreya was like, should we sing? Because nobody was there, like people were late, and we were like, should we sing? Should we not sing? Blah, blah. Then people came, and there was a girl who was singing, playing piano, and I don't know, there was some pause because of something. I was like, I want to sing. Can I sing?
The music they play is really good, as everyone has their own talent. And their talent amazes all of us. Like, as much as some people don't play the instrument, the performers, which are the people who are playing the instruments, need audience too. So as an audience, to give them the support, I'm very glad to give them the support. And it's really fun listening and be in there, just enjoying the moment and the song they're playing.
No one is going to judge you at the end of the day. Even if you mess up, you're gonna have fun. And that's the important thing, to have fun. Music is not to be dramatic about it. It's something that should bring joy.
Check 1, 2, 3, check 1. Let's play. Play it only. Play it only.
Jam session. Hi, my name is Mo, and I like music. I study, and I'm looking for work here in Dessau. I just started studying in the Hochschule Anhalt. I study integrated design, and from this day I joined the jam session as a part of the organizing group, and I just help facilitate the jam sessions that we make every month.
I'm Ari. I live here in Dessau since 2018, and that's when I started studying here at the university. I am done since last year, but still living in Dessau. I've always had a contact with music. In my family there were several people who played instruments, and we always had instruments at home also. I finished university last year, and now I'm working as a freelancer with all kinds of different projects. Some involve design or illustration, some video editing, filming, doing workshop.
Well, since I came to Dessau, I immediately met the jam session people, and it was my first night I spent here in Dessau. And the first day I was just there to play music with people I just met.
It started in the flat I am currently living in. When I moved in there, I lived with one other person for 1 year, I think, about 1 year. The next flatmate who moved in was Jonathan, and he plays the drums. So Johnny brought his electrical drum set, and then pretty soon we started making music together. And then we started, or I think Johnny was the one who started inviting other people also to a jam.
The first person I met in jam session, if I remember correctly, was Johnny.
Who is Johnny? It's Johnny. I mean, Johnny is Johnny.
My name is Jonathan. I'm 24 years old, and I was born here in Dessau, didn't grow up here, and I came back around 6 years ago for studying design. I'm done with my bachelor. I finished it 2023, and now I'm looking for a job right now. I started my master's here also, but yeah, for personal reasons I have to start my full-time work life now, so leaving Dessau quite soon. Here in Dessau, for me, it started with moving to my first, or actually my second WG with Ari. Really important person in my life and good friend. And yeah, we started making music together, and then slowly we invited more people in our attic, and it got very nice to a point where this was kind of like our way of socializing in our free time. Like, we got together, made music, drank, and had a good time. And yeah, this I wanted to like develop further and maybe have even more people participate. So I developed a format in my thesis, in my bachelor thesis, and since then we've been doing it more publicly and inviting more people. So I finished my bachelor in March 2023, and now City Jam has been going on since then, since 2023 in March.
Now, nowadays we have a little team of people who are more closely invested into this. So usually before a session we have one meeting where we organize everything. We give the roles that people are gonna have, the tasks which have to be done.
Decide who will be responsible for what, like for example, who does the flyer, who does the social media, who is responsible for organizing the transport, sound check.
We have to go to Ford, we take all the stuff, we put it in the car, Then we drive it to the location where we do the session. Then there we have to take everything out of the car, put it in the place, set everything up, do a sound check.
Do the flyer for social media, you share it, you write a bunch of people on WhatsApp and Telegram in all the groups.
Organize the space so it is kind of cozy, put all the cables, set up the lighting, clean the space.
Maybe some projections.
Sometimes videos afterwards, also gathering content during the session.
And then once you have discussed everything and the roles are more or less clear, then we start playing.
I think it would be nice to have a different moderator every time, because then because it's a repeating thing, you know, every time a different one, but in the same order, and then you have this this time it's a Meran session, and next time it's a Matt session, and this time it's a Johnny session. I mean, I don't know. I think it's nice. Maybe each one has their favorite moderator, or you know, it's nicer when it's not just one person every time.
Just on the last session. I want to talk about music flow. Yeah. And which is, I think, we talk enough about the organization, but let's talk about the music flow and quality. So what do you think what do you suggest that music can sound better, and should music be non-stop, or it should, because it cuts in the half and we wait for a long time and the other group starts playing? And what do you think about a non-stop music?
Task sheet. Okay. But I mean, you can still copy that one and just fill in the new tasks, and all the time we just use what we use and what not we don't.
Oh, you're really good at managing.
Very good.
Nice. So this is kind of the basis for decision making. Of course, other factors also, but this are the basic values. Yeah, so now we will kind of summarize what we talked about last time. Ari did the protocol very well. That was quite helpful. We talked about assigning the tasks in the team, how we can make that more efficient, and like last time, the briefing, vision and values, then general thoughts on further defining the format, because we want to bring it to a point where it's kind of a set format which we can then bring to the city more confidently.
Würde ich sagen, einen letzten Pass, oder?
Wait, is it on?
Check one, check one, mic, one, check 1, 2, 3. I can hear myself amplified, but hello, check 1, 2, check. I can see. So, dass wir einfach so ein bisschen drumherum laufen. The whole level down on
You gave me the task of organizing a jam session like this a couple years ago, I would have said, no way. I can't do it. I would be really stressed. I would think a lot. And it would be completely overwhelming of a task for me to accomplish. But it all happened so organically that it seemed almost effortless.
I remember that the first day that I unpacked my stuff in Dessau, I checked my email, my student email. And the first email that I opened up was an advertisement for the jam session in October. And I was like, good, some, a student gathering, an event. So it was a very good coincidence because it was the first students and gathering thing that I experienced in Dessau.
Lots of people from Dessau I met through the jam session, and mainly musicians who know about the event. We also lots of people from the university. We have lots of students who play music, and sometimes people who don't play music and they just show up to enjoy the event. Yeah, and I think it's a good chance for me here in Dessau to meet locals who are not just from the university, like people who live in Dessau and people who play music here. And there is a lot of really, really good musicians here. A lot of interesting people I met through the jam session, or at least living in Dessau.
I was inspired also by my fellow students, like some people did social design like this, like invite formats that have the goal to bring together people or to change something, some problem, solve a problem. And yeah, I was interested in this and I just researched a lot about Dessau, about culture in general, like tried to understand how does culture work. Then I did a bunch of interviews, looked at some surveys and just tried to understand Dessau in and of itself, and then tried to make a plan. I looked for spaces that would be good. I did like a briefing, like for example the values that this should have, like you have open, confident and communal, and the vision of the thing is a diverse community of musicians arises which is well connected and adds new colors to the city confidently.
I'm always really happy when someone new comes and they maybe at first they're still a little bit shy, and then in the end they go there and they just do their thing. Sometimes it's also not super good, but that doesn't matter. It's not very difficult, but it is a challenge, and you need the right people for this also, I think, is to break the ice. This is one big challenge, because some people there, they have never played in front of other people. Some people don't have much experience with an instrument, some have a lot of experience with an instrument, but they never improvised, for example, which is a very big difference also. So you really need to create an atmosphere where everyone feels comfortable to try out new things and where they don't feel judged.
For example, there is a shy guy maybe in the corner of the bar, in the dark, sitting, drinking his own beer, and suddenly he realizes, you know what, maybe I should give it a shot, and he comes up to the stage and read or sing something. And so jam session, I think, is the most natural place for human interaction in Dessau. It is very organic, it's very cozy environment, very friendly environment that can host everything which people enjoy at the time.
But yeah, the attic was the first headquarter of jam session, I would say. I mean, I could go on for another hour just talking about the attic. Anything you need, anything you want, and anything you want to do, the attic offers it. The attic is just love.
Memorable experience. I think one moment I was playing on the bass for the first time. I was really focused with the playing, and then I looked to the drummer, who was Mert, and he was on the drums. And Mert, we listened to similar music, so he's also a crazy nice drummer. And I was just doing like really grooving on the bass, not really concentrated if I'm sounding good or not. But then I look to Mert, and suddenly I feel like we have music going like this, and it was like going crazier and crazier and crazier, and like we just like started to build up on that. It was like one of the most amazing jam sessions I had.
There were a few sessions which were really amazing also, which are very memorable, like when the room was full, 80 people, 90 people, and a lot of great musicians. So of course the musical quality matters, like that's most memorable. Then for me as an organizer, the amount of people, and yeah, also like if the whole process of moving stuff and the whole group thing works really well, that's also very memorable to me. Like if the people know what to do and everyone does their part, that's also a big success in my opinion. Yeah. A big thank you to everyone who was involved with the project, if it was you jamming or you being part of the team. Like special thanks of course to the people who were more involved with the organization and execution. It definitely changed my life having these people around me and so much trust from everyone and help. So it was amazing.
We were all in harmony and the music was so good. I felt like my heart is like very open, like everything is in super harmony. We are all united somehow. Yeah, it was more of like this, maybe the yoga teachings of like being a part of the universe mantra or something, like just like it's a bit hard to put it into words, but just like a couple of minutes I just felt like life is amazing.
I was shocked when I met the international community here because I wasn't expecting it to be that big, friendly and open. I didn't know much about Dessau. I knew about the Bauhaus. I knew about a bit about the story of the city. It was a pleasant surprise to discover this amazing international community, which is not only composed of internationals, because there are many locals, many Germans from Dessau or from other parts of Germany that are part of this community in one way or another, and that makes it even more diverse and interesting.
Most of us, either we speak basic German, like enough to survive, enough to have really small conversations, so we don't feel confident enough to speak in German all the time. But I also have seen how when we are listening to music, like the parties that are in Mensa or in the Building 1, that's the moment where we enjoy the same. We are dancing, we are sharing the music. Even some DJs that play are Germans, and we get along with them very well. So it's, I guess, through partying is the moment that we forget about those barriers and we share together.
It's about connection, community, taking care of each other.
This place gives you a different energy, healthy energy. You can get out of your comfort zone, and you will discover yourself more, and you will do what you never thought you can do.
I think Dessau is a very peculiar place, and it's not for everyone. I would say it is a good place for a certain mindset and a certain time in your life. And I think everyone has at first difficulties here It's really overwhelmingly the experience of everyone who arrives here that the first year is really hard.
I would say Dessau is really nice place to be if you are curious, you know. If you want to know people, it's a really nice place because it's not as very chaotic as Berlin. When we compare, I can compare Berlin to Mumbai because it's the similar kind of vibe. And Dessau is like very chilled and relaxed, and you have really nice set of people here who you can talk to about everything, like even your mental health issues.
But then I think if you're open-minded and if you take the opportunities which you have, and also if you little bit take your fate in your own hand, then you can have an amazing time here. For example, I mean, Dessau is not like generally known to be a super open place, for example, but I have never lived in any place which had such a cultural diversity.
I think stuff like this can also be a motivation for people to stay here. We have a lot of nice initiatives that are starting now. We have Gruppe, we have Vorort in general, and Weißraum, they do some cool exhibitions. We have the Mitmachlokal now. So there are a lot of things that people can get involved in that make them want to stay.
And I mean, probably they exist, but I never lived in such surroundings where the minority of my friends are German, for example. And I know like, every party we did, there were at least 10 or maybe 20 different nationalities. And at the jam sessions, it's like this as well. No? And I mean, Dessau is also a place with a lot of white spots on the map, so you have the opportunity to fill in the blanks also, which in a bigger city, for example, and places where there's a lot of stuff happening, you don't really have this. Nobody cares. You can do anything, but in the end, everyone does everything already. So here, I think you have a lot of opportunities also.
Since it's a small town, maybe if you're looking for a very active, very fluid nightlife or so, maybe it's not the place. But I think it's a Bauhaus city, so all the time there is an artistic activity going on. You can choose to go to the theater, the cinema, there's Vorort in Dessau. If you're looking for an exchange of artistic stuff, or if you are looking for developing your own artistic persona, you're in the right place.
Another skin touches mine. A voice speaks. I am music, she says. Is it knowledge you seek? She dances around me. Every emotion I feel, every movement introduces a friend. They led me to a storyland unread. Sing to me your purpose here, she says. You are a purpose, my love. From a tower of deafness, I now sing an abundance of unlimited colors. We are a family, my face she caressed. I cried, you are a home I can belong to, and never a fortress. Found. I make my own path, now soaring. The wings I use is born of a family, unbounding. The ship I sail to is a planet with no orbit. The only limit you possess is fear. She prohibits.
Parallel to this dimension is another one in which I die. Everything that could go wrong, it just goes wrong, and I'm left behind.